Welcome to our deep dive. And today we're going to be looking into the life and career of Keanu Reeves.
Oh, yeah.
Who I think, despite kind of being a household name, there's a lot there.
Absolutely.
That we can unpack. So we've got a great biographical article here that I'm really excited to dig into. And it's going to be talking about his career, the highs and lows.
Yeah.
Personal tragedies.
Right.
And also his reputation for being just like incredibly generous and humble.
Yeah, he is almost like an anomaly in Hollywood. It seems like he kind of almost exists outside of that system.
Right, and that's what's so fascinating about him, right? Like you see the persona and then you hear all these stories and you're like, how do those two things coexist?
Yeah, you don't often get that sort of, I guess, wholesomeness or goodness.
Yeah.
That's what's so captivating about him, is that the public image and then also just like the nuanced journey that he's been on.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're going to try to do today, is kind of like unravel that.
Yeah, let's rewind all the way back to the beginning. His early life wasn't exactly a Hollywood fairy tale.
Far from it.
Was it?
Yeah. So, I mean, born in Beirut and then raised in kind of a less than stable environment.
Right.
His childhood was marked by his father leaving the family and frequent relocations. Spent some time in Canada as well.
Yeah.
And imagine that, constantly adapting to new surroundings.
Yeah.
And research often links early instability to kind of the development of resilience and adaptability.
Right.
And it suggests that it can foster a heightened sense of empathy and understanding.
That's so interesting, right? How sometimes these challenging circumstances can shape us in ways that we wouldn't have expected.
For sure.
And speaking of shaping, I think back to 1989.
Okay.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yes.
A film that I think perfectly captures that like carefree, optimistic vibe of the late 80s.
Right.
Really kind of catapulted him into the spotlight.
Yeah. I mean, Bill and Ted was a cultural phenomenon. And, his portrayal of Ted really resonated with audiences. And it established, I think, his comedic talent as well.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And then from there, his career transitioned into like action-packed roles.
Yeah, more the action hero.
Point Break.
Yes.
Speed, really cementing that like heartthrob status.
Of course, yeah.
And then, of course, The Matrix comes along in 1999.
That changed everything.
I mean, that redefined action cinema.
Yeah.
Really propelled him.
To superstardom.
To superstardom. And it's fascinating to me how amidst, this like phenomenal success.
Yes.
He still seems to be so grounded.
Yeah.
Like untouched by the trappings of fame.
That's true. Yeah. It's a rare thing to see, I think.
Right.
But as we know, even the most kind of stellar careers have their share of shadows.
Right.
So, the Matrix sequels, for instance, didn't quite capture the magic of the original.
Right.
And there were other films, Johnny and Mnemonic, The Watcher.
Yeah.
That faced, I think, critical scrutiny.
Yeah.
So it's just a reminder that success in Hollywood is rarely a linear path.
Yeah, it's like this roller coaster, right?
Totally. Yeah.
You've got those soaring highs and then those like unexpected dips.
The ebbs and flows.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder like what does it take to navigate those fluctuations and emerge stronger on the other side?
I think resilience is key.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the time we perceive success as constant upward trajectory.
Yeah.
Forgetting that even the most celebrated individuals face setbacks.
Yeah.
And I think it's their response to those challenges that truly defines their character.
And he never let those setbacks define him.
Yeah.
And then almost unexpectedly comes this John Wick franchise.
Yes.
Revitalizing his career, offering audiences
a complete surprise.
this gritty, action-packed spectacle.
Yeah. John Wick was a revelation.
Yeah.
And even though it had, a relatively modest budget, it really resonated with audiences.
Yeah.
On, I think, like a visceral level. The action sequences were breathtaking.
Yeah.
But it was also his portrayal of John Wick.
Yeah.
This man who was fueled by grief and vengeance.
Right.
And I think that imbued the film with a kind of emotional depth.
Totally. Yeah.
And the franchise really suggests, this powerful connection with themes of loss and resilience.
Right.
And also the possibility of second chances.
Yeah. It certainly struck a chord.
Absolutely.
With audiences. It exceeded box office expectations.
Yeah.
Garnered critical acclaim. And it seems like this film really tapped into like a universal human experience. This desire to overcome adversity.
Yeah, and I think it almost provides like a cathartic experience for the viewer.
Right.
It's almost like reminding us that even in our darkest moments, we possess the strength to rise again.
Right. And now we shift gears a little bit to a more personal aspect of Keanu's story.
Yeah.
This part that often remains hidden.
Behind the persona,
Behind his on-screen persona.
Yeah.
His life has been touched by some really profound tragedies.
Yeah.
And it's a stark contrast to that action hero image.
It is. And the loss of his daughter and his girlfriend, Jennifer Syme, in the late 1990s was a devastating blow.
Yeah.
You know, and then years earlier, he also experienced the loss of his close friend, River Phoenix.
Right.
And you can't even imagine how these experiences must shaped him.
Yeah.
And added, I guess, layers of complexity to his understanding of the human condition.
To endure such profound loss and yet retain this like positive spirit really speaks volumes about
It does.
his character.
It speaks to his resilience.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it makes you realize that resilience isn't about ignoring pain.
Right.
It's about finding that strength to move forward.
Absolutely, despite it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think his journey really exemplifies the power of resilience.
Yeah.
You know, it really demonstrates this human capacity for healing and growth.
Yeah.
Even when confronted with, I think, profound grief.
Yeah.
And it serves as a reminder that even in, I guess, the darkest times, we possess this potential to discover strength and meaning.
What an inspiring story.
It is, yeah.
And speaking of inspiring, his reputation for kindness and generosity is almost as legendary as his film roles.
Yeah, and it stands in such contrast to the often perceived excesses and superficiality that are associated with Hollywood.
Right, so he's known for these, like, philanthropic efforts, right? Donating millions to charities.
Yeah.
Especially cancer research, which is close to his heart because of his sister's battle with leukemia.
Absolutely.
But it's not just these like grand gestures. It's like these everyday acts of kindness that really resonate.
The small things.
Yeah.
It's exactly like he's been spotted, you know, taking public transport.
Right.
Enjoying meals alone in parks. Treating everyone he encounters with respect.
Right.
Regardless of their status.
Yeah.
So that says a lot, I think.
And then there are those countless stories of his generosity towards film crews and stunt doubles, like gifting those Harley-Davidson motorcycles to the stunt team on The Matrix.
Yeah.
It's like he genuinely wants to share his success, express gratitude.
It's very selfless.
Yeah.
Yeah, it speaks volumes about his values, I think.
Yeah.
And it reminds us that true success isn't solely defined by fame and fortune.
Right.
It's about how we treat others and how we contribute to the world around us.
Right.
And I think it kind of prompts us to reflect on our own values.
Yeah.
Like, how do we impact those around us?
Yeah.
What kind of legacy do we aspire to leave?
It's a compelling question.
Yeah.
Here's this man who's achieved remarkable success, endured unimaginable tragedy, and yet remains grounded, kind, and generous.
I know.
No wonder people are so drawn to him.
Yeah, he's a fascinating figure.
Yeah, and that brings us to where Keanu is today.
Yeah.
Still very much in the spotlight.
Yeah.
With the continued success of the John Wick franchise and also his foray
into the gaming world. Yeah.
Into the world of video games.
Yeah.
With Cyberpunk 2077.
It's great to see him pushing boundaries, I think.
It is.
And exploring these new creative avenues.
Yeah, and his connection
with the fans is undeniable.
With his fans is undeniable.
Yeah.
As we kind of wrap up this first part of our deep dive, it's evident that Keanu Reeves is much more than just an action star.
Yeah.
He embodies resilience.
He does.
Humility.
Yeah.
And kindness.
Yeah, he embodies this kind of quiet strength.
Yeah.
You know, determination to persevere against all odds.
Yeah.
And his generosity, I think, serves as a powerful reminder of the significance of human connection and compassion.
What an incredible legacy.
It is.
To build.
Yeah.
And we'll be diving deeper into what makes him such an enduring and inspiring figure when we return.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. So good.
See you soon.
Goodbye. Bye.
Bye-bye. Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of Keanu Reeves. We've been exploring his career, the highs and lows, personal tragedies that he's weathered, and his remarkable resilience.
And of course, we can't forget those incredible stories about his generosity and humility.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it really does feel like he's kind of rewriting the Hollywood playbook.
He really is. He's almost like the antithesis of the stereotypical Hollywood persona.
Right.
It almost begs the question, where does this genuine goodness stem from?
It's a question that has intrigued many. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's impossible to know definitively.
But it appears that his life experiences, both positive and negative, have deeply shaped his outlook.
Yeah.
Think back to his early life, the instability he faced his father's absence.
Right.
These were defining moments.
Yeah. I mean, those early challenges must have instilled in him like this profound understanding of
I think so.
The human condition.
Yeah.
And then the losses he experienced later in life, the passing of his daughter and girlfriend, Jennifer Syme,
Right.
and then the loss of his close friend, River Phoenix.
Yeah.
I mean, these tragedies could have broken him.
It's true. But instead of succumbing to despair, those experiences seem to have deepened, I think, his empathy and compassion.
Right.
And maybe even fueled his desire to make a positive impact on the world.
His actions certainly suggest like a profound understanding of life's fragility and the importance of cherishing every moment.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, his choices, like donating, a significant portion of his Matrix earnings
to the crew,
to the special effects and makeup teams, speaks volumes.
And that decision wasn't about publicity or anything like that. It was about recognizing the crucial role that everyone plays in a film's success.
Yeah.
Keanu understands the collaborative nature of filmmaking and the value of every contribution.
Right.
It reflects a humility that's rarely seen, I think, in an industry.
Yeah.
Often driven by ego.
And who could forget those Harley Davidsons?
Oh, yeah.
He gifted to the Matrix stunt team.
I know.
That level of generosity goes way beyond.
Beyond typical Hollywood behavior.
Typical Hollywood behavior.
It really highlights a genuine appreciation for the hard work.
Yeah.
And dedication of those around him.
Right.
He doesn't see himself as separate or superior.
Right.
Which is incredibly refreshing, I think, in a world that often prioritizes, hierarchy and status.
It's like he's consciously chosen to live a life that defies that stereotypical Hollywood narrative.
He could easily be living in a lavish mansion surrounded by an entourage. But instead, he opts for this, simpler, more grounded existence.
Right. And that's a huge part of his appeal.
Yeah.
People see him taking the subway, eating alone in a park.
Yeah.
And they connect with that authenticity.
Yeah. It makes him relatable, accessible.
Yeah. It's like he's the guy next door who just happens to be a global action star.
I know.
And that image really challenges our perceptions of what success and happiness look like.
Absolutely. Keanu embodies a different kind of success.
Right.
One that's not measured by material possessions or outward appearances.
Right.
But by inner peace, kindness, and genuine connections with others.
Yeah.
He reminds us that true fulfillment comes from living in alignment with our values and making a positive impact, I think, on the world.
His life is a testament to the power of choosing our own path, defining our own values, and contributing to the world in meaningful ways.
Yeah.
So what can we learn from Keanu Reeves? What wisdom can we glean from his journey?
Well, I think he teaches us that resilience isn't about avoiding pain or hardship.
Right.
It's about finding the strength to persevere, to discover meaning and purpose, even in the face of adversity.
Yeah.
And he shows us that kindness and compassion are not weaknesses, but rather our greatest strengths.
He's such a shining example of how to live a meaningful life.
I think so.
And that's something we can all aspire to, regardless of our circumstances.
Absolutely. His story reminds us that we all have the power to choose our path.
Right.
Define our values. Make a positive difference in the world.
Yeah.
Even in small ways.
Those are powerful lessons to carry with us.
Yeah, for sure.
As we continue our deep dive into Keanu, I'm struck by how his story goes beyond just the individual.
Yeah.
It feels like he represents something bigger, almost like a cultural phenomenon.
I think you're right. His appeal extends far beyond, just his acting talent or his personal qualities. He's become this kind of cultural icon.
Yeah.
A symbol that resonates so deeply with people.
Yeah.
Almost on like a subconscious level.
Right. I mean, think about it. He's often called like the internet's boyfriend.
Right.
And there's this constant stream of memes and tributes celebrating, his kindness and his humility.
Yeah, it goes beyond that typical celebrity adoration.
Yeah.
He embodies a certain archetype. I think this stoic, resilient hero facing hardship with quiet strength and grace. And it's a powerful image, I think, especially in a world that often feels cynical and superficial.
He's like a modern-day knight errant.
That's a great way to put it.
Navigating this world that doesn't always reward genuine goodness.
Yeah, and then his willingness to embrace new things.
Yeah.
Whether it's video games like Cyberpunk 2077 comic books, or even those kind of more experimental film projects. It just shows a real openness and curiosity.
Yeah, it's inspiring to see someone who's achieved so much success remain so open to new experiences and new challenges. Totally. Like he's not letting age or expectations define him.
He doesn't let anything hold him back.
Right. He seems to be saying, embrace your individuality.
Yeah.
Pursue your passions and never stop growing.
Never stop learning. Yeah.
That message clearly resonates.
It does.
With a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Keanu Reeves,
what
have we learned? What stands out to you?
Well, I think for me, what really stands out is this reminder that there's often more than meets the eye.
Yeah.
Keanu's story really demonstrates the power of resilience, the importance of staying true to oneself, and just the incredible impact of simple kindness.
He's shown us that it's possible to navigate fame and fortune without losing sight of what truly matters.
Right.
Compassion, empathy, and connection.
Absolutely. He really embodies this idea that even amidst tragedy and hardship, we can choose to rise above, to find meaning and purpose, and to make a positive impact on the world.
He leaves this incredible legacy of kindness,
humility,
and quiet strength.
It's inspiring.
And those are qualities I think we can all aspire to cultivate in our own lives.
For sure.
So as we say goodbye to Keanu, at least for now, I'm left feeling this sense of gratitude and inspiration.
Me too.
What about you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's a shining example of the good that exists in the world.
Yeah.
A reminder that kindness matters. And that it's never too late to make a difference. And to our listeners, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
What resonated with you about Keanu's story?
Yeah. What can we all learn from his journey?
Keep diving deep.
Keep exploring.
Keep exploring and keep embracing that power of human connection.
Absolutely.
Until next time.
See you then.
Right.